Welcome dreamers, happy Wednesday, and I hope everybody had a very happy Halloween. A special thank you to all those that participated in the Halloween events last week, and congratulations to all the people that won the Halloween raffle giveaways. Today we're gonna have another build video. A little while ago when we were looking at player builds, I saw a build that used a perfect combination of build pieces that I wanted to replicate in my own build. It'll have its own design. It's going to be a nice big tower build. But before I get to that, as usual, a friendly reminder that DreamWorld is currently in early access. If you head down to the description of this video, you'll find a link to DreamWorld's website where you can get our free trial to try the game out for yourself. And if you like what you play in the trial and like what you see in today's video, you can feel free to purchase DreamWorld to play for yourself. But now let's get right back to building our stone tower in the desert in DreamWorld. Now that Halloween has ended, spooky builds aren't really going to be on the top priority here, but maybe we'll make this one a little bit spooky with the lighting. We'll see. As we get our farming out of the way, I'm going to be talking about why we're using certain resources and how we're going to go about building our tower. As usual, we'll be farming out mountain stone. Plenty of mountain stone. I feel like I've farmed thousands of mountain stone over the past month, but that's just because mountain stone, for me, the builds that I make, works perfectly. It's got a nice rocky look to it, which is perfect for my, cave builds and stone tower builds. We're also going to be farming live and dead desert wood from the desert. These woods have a pinkish color to them, which to me perfectly offsets and blends with the mountain stone. And I want to kind of break up the, the constant gray, stony, rocky texture of the build. I want to have, other colors supplemented into the design. The pink colored wood is going to break up the monotony of just seeing, stone all over the build. There'll be some, interesting little wooden pieces around as well. We have our resources. Let's get right to tilling. So why did I choose this specific spot in the desert? Well, first of all, it's in an area that's right under the island of Elysium, so it's going to get a lot of traffic, lots of people are going to be able to see the build, but also I like the desert because it is relatively flat. There's several sections of the desert that have nice flat plains where you can, the tilling is easier than sometimes even the forest. Specifically, I picked this patch right here that's actually on cracked desert mud because of how nice and flat it is. So you'll notice that tilling for me right now isn't as much of an issue. And as I dig up some of this cracked desert mud, I'm going to save it to possibly reuse for the actual build later. So let's quickly finish up tilling so we can get right to building. Alrighty, there we go. We have an almost perfectly flatly tilled area down here now, which we can start building on. We're going to be using stone foundations here, of course. It is a stone tower. And I'm going to plan for the foundations to actually have a nice, square interior accompanied with a walkway that goes around the edges, so where you can walk around the interior of the tower on a walkway that's, outside of the interior. To make this walkway, we're going to be using cylindrical foundation pieces as opposed to the square ones we'll be using for the interior of the build. The tricky part about making this walkway is going to have it wrap perfectly around and have both sides of the walkway meet each other around the back of the build. I want to keep this as symmetrical as possible, but if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. It didn't turn out to be too big of a deal anyways, because I just made adjustments as I went on. The easiest way to go about building walkways like this is to basically just constantly be going off of the other side of the walkway that you built as you build, the second side. So as I'm wrapping this walkway around to meet the part that I've already built, I'm constantly running back to the other one to, refer off of that design. Now that that the foundations of the walkway are mostly done and we have the interior foundations of the actual tower done, we can start to put the fencing down around the walkway to make it, well, look like a walkway. This is the perfect chance to actually break up all of the stone color from the build. We're going to be using dry desert wood fence pieces. To me, the pink contrasts perfectly with the gray stone, and I think it's going to create, you know, a more eye-popping color palette for the actual tower. I'm also going to go fix the foundations of the walkway right here now that I'm done with the fencing. Now for the interior fencing pieces. These are just going to be made of mountain stone. You'll notice a theme with the tower where the exterior pieces that, you know, are on the outsides of the build are going to be pink dry desert wood, and the interior will be stone. By juxtaposing the mountain stone with the dead desert wood, I want to create some contrast in the colors here, and I don't want to add too much pink. Plus, I'll have more decorating along the walkway later, which will kind of explain why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it. Okay, we're all done with our fencing. We now have a fully functional walkway that leads all around the tower. This walkway protects you from any enemies that are roaming the desert at nighttime, so you can walk around the build, get a nice look out of the desert plains around you without fear of getting attacked by boars or skeletons. Let's put down the very first of the walls for the actual tower. I'll put the door frame down and some windows beside it. We'll then go around the outer fence and start putting down some pillars. This is mainly to add decoration, but you'll notice with the resources and how I use them, we're gonna mix and match the resources with the exterior fencing and the interior fencing. So for the exterior fencing, we'll use mountain stone pillars, and for the interior fencing, we're gonna use dead desert wood pillars. So the stone pillars are all done. Let's do the same thing with the interior fence and dead desert wood pillars. Now to work on the base of the tower and the walls. First of all, let's add the door to the build, a nice mountain stone door. And now for the walls, I'm going to use mostly window frames. I want plenty of natural light to be able to seep into the tower, and also for you to be able to look outside of the base as you're climbing the tower stairs, just so you can get, you know, as much views as possible without having it be too open. I could use door frames, you know, as openings along the tower, but that feels like there's too many holes in the tower to me. Now let's work on the staircase leading to the top of the tower. We're not going to worry about hugging the staircase to the wall. I'm just going to use these L-shaped staircases. And this will lead us 3 stories up, where we're going to put a ceiling down as kind of a platform where you can stand up there. Along the staircase, I'm also going to put down some pillars as you go up. I don't have any railing building assets yet, so this is going to be the closest thing that I can do for a railing, while also adding some decoration, you know, up and down the stairs. Before we head up and start the top of the tower, though, I want to work on some decorations on the entrance. I didn't have an exact idea of what I wanted to do yet, so what I did is I took the square-shaped building assets and I shrunk them to make shelving on the bottom floor. I basically made a little bar area where I can put, you know, assets as I collect them later on and do some more interior decorating. Along with the shelving, I'm also going to put a little counter down of the same building assets, except this time I'll make them the normal size instead of shrunken. Now to get to the top of the tower, we're going to start by using door frames to make a little entry room as you get to the platform up there. I'll use the snap points of this to actually construct the tower, but I'll also throw some roofing on it as well. I want it to look nice if I'm going to keep it. Let's now put down the cylindrical walls, building off of that small room we made to start making the round tower. Now to build the tower up. So for this part of the tower, we actually are going to use more open windows. The cylindrical windows are nice and open where you can see really good views, as you go up the tower. That's what we want for the top of the build, not the base though. You'll also notice that I do have a spiral staircase up here for now. However, I'm gonna make some additions and edits to it later. Now that the tower walls are up, we can worry about making the staircase. I struggled a little bit with how I wanted to do the staircase. However, I finally got a spiral staircase down that had a design that I kind of liked. It wasn't perfect, but it was something I could work with. Once that was down, I put the roofing down at the top of the tower to actually make a platform to walk up onto. And now all there is to do is to make the tower roof. The vision of the roof was to have an interior room at the top of the tower with a walkway going all around it. So we're going to use cylindrical ceiling pieces to actually make the walkway outside of this interior top of the tower. You also notice I put a fence piece down before. That was to make sure that I didn't fall down the hole that led down to that spiral staircase easily. We're hoping to not die from fall damage as we go up this tower. Before we make the walls and the roofing for the top of the tower, I noticed a small gap between the platform and the end of my spiral staircase, so I used those square building pieces to actually fill that gap here. Again, it's not perfect, but now you'll be able to use the staircase without fear of falling through. Now finally, the walls of the top of the tower. Let's use cylindrical windows here. We want to be able to get beautiful views across the desert as we get to the top here, so I don't want to actually wall anything off completely at all. Just like we did with the walkway, I'll also put some dead desert wood pieces up here, again, to break up the monotony of just everything being mountain stone. I'll put pillars in the walls of the actual tower, and then on the outside of the tower, we're going to add fencing, just like we did for the walkway. I'll also use dead desert wood for the roofing pieces at the top of the tower. And the design for the tower is complete. We're not completely done yet, but let's go through and see kind of how everything looks. I think the usage of the dead desert wood definitely makes the build more eye-popping. Instead of just seeing a massive block of stone, you see, some colors intertwined with each other and, breaking up some of the parts of the build. I maybe could have put more dead desert wood in the center of the build, but I'm happy with how this turned out. While we didn't add too much to the interior of the build, that can definitely be expanded upon later. But now to finish the build completely, we have to add lighting. I was a bit torn on what I wanted to use for the lighting resources. I thought about maybe using pumpkin pulp again, but then I remembered we had some cracked desert mud saved up from before, so I decided to use that for the lighting, and I think I made the right choice. Along with lighting, let's also put a staircase on the front of the build. And now we are completely done with our desert stone tower build. I think it came out pretty good. Let me know how y'all think about it though in the comments below. We can see here how it looks at night and how, the lighting reflects off of the different build pieces and the different resources, how they blend together to make a nice little sight to see as you're roaming the desert at night. As usual, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like what you see in today's video, again, head down to the description where you can get a link to our website where you can actually try DreamWorld out for yourself. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see videos just like this one. And have an amazing Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.